want a piece of me?
What up, sports fans, movie fans, wrestling fans? It doesn't matter. As long as you're a fan of this podcast, welcome. Even if you're not and you just stumbled upon us, happy Wednesday, right? Yeah, today's Wednesday. You're listening to another episode of the Cinema Movie Podcast presents Sports Breakers, episode 31 in this montage of sports talk and reviews, whatever you want to talk about. But I'm here today. I'm your host Juan, and I'm joined with Jay. Jay, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. We're sitting here. We're talking. We're just gonna dive right on to it. We are talking maybe the worst WrestleMania of all time.
I call it the worst. I wouldn't call it the worst of all time. I'd call it one of the worst modern of all time. If not,
Do
I wouldn't say, but I would
do
say
you-
match wise. I say length wise is why.
Do you really think there's another WrestleMania out there that's worse?
Yes, I do. I can name it right off the top of my head easily.
What is it?
WrestleMania 9.
Even WrestleMania 9 had at least one 3-star match, did it not?
No, WrestleMania 9. This one's still way better than WrestleMania 9. It's its length that makes it, in my opinion, what makes this pay per view. You said you were there live though, right?
I was there live and in living color.
So you lived it a completely different experience than I did. So I watched it at home on pay per view at the night of, and you were there in the arena. So you got to sit through all the ups, all the downs. Me, I got to get up, stretch my legs, do my thing, smoke a joint, do whatever I wanted to, while you just had to fucking just go with the flow and be cold as shit, right?
Yeah, it was about probably it started off 50 degrees. We were sweating. Actually, the high. A lot of people. Let's talk about my week leading into WrestleMania. I think that would be kind of a little fun conversation. My week leading into
pictures, they were awesome.
my week leading into this show, by all means, was just it was unbelievable. I'm not gonna lie. Like, um, the show itself was amazing, at least in person. Going back and watching it, I think it was just kind of god awful. But um, yeah, going into
You've been to two really bad WrestleManias, though, right?
man, I was at WrestleMania 32 in
Yeah, that's
Dallas,
what I'm saying. You've been to two
and then I
WrestleManias
was
that have not panned out to be very good.
yeah, yeah. So it yeah,
You went to WrestleCon, didn't you? And met a lot of the wrestlers there that day? Because I've seen a lot of the pictures that you posted, or you showed me pictures of you with like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Jay Lethal. I'm not trying to name drop, but these are just a lot of the people that you ended up meeting and hanging out with, like RVD and shit like that. You were telling me how much they cost per photo and everything like that, and signature. And there were just ones where you're just like, no, I'm just gonna walk by and click
there we
and
go.
just keep walking.
Can you see those?
Oh yeah, I can see that. There we go. This
All right,
is what I'm talking about. This is you and Nathan Sensation.
Nathan Sensation, yes, sir. He's the one that went with me to WrestleMania that year. So we went. WrestleCon was pretty cool. We went and met Scott Hall. There's us with Bret Hart.
Oh, envious of that one. Did he bitch about Goldberg?
He didn't.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Who's
Shane
that guy?
Douglas.
Yeah.
Shane Douglas, the franchise, baby.
So if you
Triple
guys,
threat.
if I cough or if I sound terrible, I have the flu. I am going through it, guys. So bear with me. You guys heard me on Monday sound completely like crap on Monday. So again, if you're watching it, we are live on Emus Raw Productions YouTube channel, or you're listening to us wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, there's you with Mr. RVD.
Yeah, man, he's
I've sold him weed.
Nice. He's a pretty tiny guy, or unless I'm just a big dude. I'm not as big as I was there.
He's like 6'1", 6'2", bro. It's like 240 pounds. How the hell are you saying that's not big?
Right there. I was probably 6 foot 320. Obviously, I don't shrink, so I'm still right now. I'm 6 foot 280, so I'm not nearly as big as I was there. But yeah, Eric Bischoff, that was a fun guy.
I'd like to just say hi.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff was pretty fun.
Oh,
Tajiri,
Tajiri, I
yeah,
love Tajiri, dude.
I think he had the flu that day. Speaking of the flu, because he was not 100%. So
Hey, he's still gonna make that money though.
yeah,
It's
it was
Victoria.
Victoria.
Oh, dude, Victoria was one of my girls. That was one of my ex-wives. She's like, oh my god, she's so gorgeous. Back in the day, because that was when she started getting into wrestling. When Victoria was champion. Ricky Steamboat.
All these people I'm showing, their price was between $10 and $25 to take a picture with them and to meet them.
So
So
and that's nothing. And the ones you see as they pass by real quickly are the ones that cost a shit ton of money, and so they just got the glancing photos.
yeah, yeah. Ron Simmons, he was only $5, and he had a little segment on the actual WrestleMania show. So yeah, he was only $5. David Arquette was cool. He gave me
Dude,
a T-shirt.
I'd have loved to have met David Arquette.
Yeah, he was only $10, and he gave you a free T-shirt. So some of these might be Arn Anderson, Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash was $20, but I wanted him to stand up.
20. I would have paid 20 to see Kevin.
Yeah,
I guarantee if you'd have haggled with him, it would have been, hey, like $30. I'll give you $30 to stand up.
Yeah, man, I wanted him to stand up, and he was like, "I got a limp knee, kid." So another one, Shane Douglas, Tajiri, Christian. Christian was cool.
Yeah, Christian seems like he'd be a pretty cool fella.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
But now, see, David Arquette would be a guy that, I definitely would want to fucking meet. So I definitely would want to meet.
I'm gonna go through. I have to go.
If I'd have known he was there, I would have had my screen gear with me.
Oh, see, yeah, same here. I didn't know he was gonna be there. But let me go through.
See, is that one of the most popular film celebrities that you've met?
Film, probably, yeah.
My highest up there film or anything like that would be like Tommy Chong or oh my god, I just fucking blanked completely, just blank. I'll get back to you on that. Or I've met John Cena and Batista. I've met.
I mean, if we're counting those, then yeah. Here's some more New York pictures. So, yeah, New York was fun that week. The show was obviously on Sunday.
Yeah.
It was the last Sunday full day WrestleMania. So I got there on that Wednesday, and I was there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. WrestleCon was Saturday. Ring of Honor was Saturday night, and then I went to WrestleMania.
And that was
Sunday.
Ring of Honor at Madison Square Garden, correct?
Madison Square Garden. Yep. It was the one that we thought the Kenny. We got at the time when we bought tickets. Now here's an interesting story. When we bought tickets, advertised for the show was the Young Guns, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, all the guys that were Chris Jericho, all the guys that had just signed with AEW literally a month before WrestleMania went on the air. So we when tickets went on sale for Ring of Honor, it was going to be a massive, massive show. But obviously,
did you get that show?
We did not get that show. So they were all gone. They had signed exclusively to AEW, and of course, Ring of Honor was still its own separate deal. So we did not get Cody Rhodes. Yeah, we didn't get any of them. They didn't even go to WrestleCon, and they were scheduled for WrestleCon.
That would have pissed me off,
Yeah,
but
that was opening weekend. Shazam was opened.
See, that'd have been cool to be there, Times Square and shit like that, seeing the stuff like that.
And the weather, dude, the weather was just as ass backwards as it was in Oklahoma City. Like one day was 70, the next day was like 45 degrees. The day of WrestleMania, it was 50 degrees, and then by the time the show started at 7, it was 42 degrees. So, but yeah, spoilers if you guys have not went and seen WrestleMania.
There's some photos of from your seat, right?
Yeah, there's Becky Lynch, and literally as soon as the main event was over at like 12:05 Monday morning, it just downpoured.
So it would have been the first WrestleMania with the downpour delay ending.
Yeah, it was a completely downpour, lightning, cold weather. It was pretty bad. But yeah, there's my seat from where I was at.
That's not too bad a seat. Would you end up paying for that?
We split everything right down the middle, so I believe it was like at the time it was like a $200 ticket.
That's not bad at all. Considering how much they're going for now, because we were discussing that the other day of how much they're going for now, and
That
what
this is honestly probably was one between 150 and 200.
that's still not bad at all. Like because what are they going for now?
I think you can get
Let's see,
kind
it's
of
like $400 or $500 seat right there now. That am I out of range of that, or $750 seat now?
well, no, I still think it's roughly between 2 and 350. Between 250 and 350, but now the catch is you got two of them to pay for.
Mm.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want one night, then yeah, that's cool. But if you want to go to the other night, guess what? It's another $200.
They have package deals though.
Yeah,
See, those house lights would have been a pain in the ass to me.
I was on the hard cam side, so there wasn't that many lights facing us. So yeah,
See,
but
you could have used some of these while we were explaining the match. Could have been. You still can. So.
oh yeah,
We can
so
get. We can start getting into the show. Yeah, we can start getting into the show. What I have written down here, they started the show with Alexa Bliss as host, saying she can create any WrestleMania moment happen at any time she wants.
hold on, I want to talk about the pre-show matches. I know you didn't go over the. I
didn't get to see the pre-show.
You didn't go over the pre-show matches, but it's fine. I want to talk about it. WrestleMania 35 was April 7th, 2019. Now, roughly, Wikipedia says between 65 and 70,000. WWE announced 82,265. I don't know why Wikipedia has between 60 and 70 because Giant Stadium, where the New York Giants play, actually does hold 80,000 people. So, but yeah, the first match of the night, people were like barely even in the building, and they started off with Tony Nese defeating Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight Championship. This was the only representation of 205 Live as the third brand. And they went 10 minutes and 40 seconds. Tony Nese being from this area, he got he got one of the biggest pops of the pre-show. You remember Tony Nese?
Sorry,
Jay's dying too.
I myself am fighting a cold, and I just done something I shouldn't have during the air. But I do remember Tony Nese, and it'd have been cool to see that match.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool little pre-show. Yeah, it was a pretty cool little pre-show, honestly.
Square Gardens for you.
And
for everybody watching us, everybody listening to us, we're seeing a picture of Madison Square Garden talking the WrestleMania 35 pre-show.
And yeah, Tony Nese was pretty good. He went over. I give that match a star, 1.5 out of 5. So the second match was the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. I think it went 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
Probably at that time, probably 10 minutes too long.
10 minutes too long. Carmella picks up the win.
See, that right there should tell you.
Yeah,
she was pretty good. She was pretty decent. I'll give Carmella her due. She was pretty decent, but
she was pretty decent. But I give that match a 0.5 stars. I don't even give it a full 1. So.
Oh, never mind. I'll be good.
The next match.
One side not fit all.
The Raw Tag Team Championships, Hawkins and Ryder reunited to take on the Revival. They defeated the Revival in 13 minutes and 20 seconds.
That would have been a pretty good match to see, I think.
It was pretty decent. It's probably the best match on the pre-show.
That was probably like pre-show main event, wasn't it?
It was not.
It was not. Okay.
I give it
sounds like a pre-show main event.
I give it a 1.5 stars. Hawkins and Ryder defeated the Revival. This was the night where, you're from New Jersey, you're from New York, you're getting the win. That's what it kind of felt like. So
they had to get that crowd, baby. But
This
they
was
had
all,
a 6.5 hour show ahead of them. They had a lot of shit to get in that night.
yeah, this was also another big pop for the pre-show. Um, so this was also the time where the pre-show was airing live on YouTube, WWE Network, and Facebook Live.
Okay, so they probably did some pretty decent numbers there on the viewing.
Now I believe it's what, just on Peacock?
Yeah. No, I think they still show it on YouTube every now and then, I believe. The bigger shows, I believe.
But now they don't even have any pre-show matches.
That's crazy. I think they should at least bring back the one. They always had the one match. They should still do that. I don't know why they don't no more.
The pre-show main event was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Yeah. It went 10 minutes and 20 seconds with Braun Strowman winning, and that's when he eliminated the two Saturday night main.
I seen that segment during their recap of the pre-show. They didn't show any. They only showed the recaps of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and the recap of the guys from Saturday Night Live running the ring doing stupid shit. And
being there live, you only got like 3 entrances, and it was Braun Strowman, Matt and Jeff Hardy, because this was their second Mania back, or their third Mania back.
Listen to that kind of talent you throw their ass in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to what we got on the show.
Well, let's dig into the show. So, that match went 10 minutes and 20 seconds. Braun Strowman obviously wins it. I believe the final 3 was the last 3 was the Hardys.
They were trying to eliminate somebody. They showed, like I said, they showed that where they were trying to eliminate somebody.
It was Braun Strowman.
Yeah, and those 2 comedic guys come out and do something stupid, and Braun eliminates everybody and kills everybody.
Okay, and I'm going to start off by saying this, probably starting with WrestleMania 30, I completely hate, I don't use that word a lot, but I hate opening up WrestleMania with a talking segment.
And that's exactly how they did with an Alexa Bliss
segment. I don't mind the national anthem. I don't mind the jets flying over the stadium. I don't mind any of that stuff. But opening it up with Alexa Bliss, okay, opening up with her, that's fine. That's fine because she's the host.
It made sense, and I'll give it. I'll go ahead and throw out what I wrote down. I wrote down Alexa Bliss as host says that she can make WrestleMania moments happen at any time she wants. Anytime she snaps her fingers, she can make it happen. And she snaps her fingers, and Hulk Hogan's music hits. And I wrote down to a good pop, which he did have, and it was a good pop. And then I said it was a short but rough promo. Didn't care. Never was a Hogan fan. There you go. Getting some shows in there that we should be seeing now. Yeah.
Yeah. The Hogan segment was just pretty bad, so I wasn't a big fan of it.
Basically, his cookie cutter, like, what you gonna do, brothers, when Hulkamania runs wild on you, brothers?
Yeah, I know. Wasn't a big fan of it.
Hey, the man they'll will his ass out there when he's 90 years old if that fucker makes it that far, and they'll will his ass out in the wheelchair, and he'll just give us one fucking thumbs up and a brother on the microphone, and everybody will fucking pop for Hogan. So it's
they didn't pop for him on that first Raw on Netflix. I think people are over Hogan.
We'll see.
I for one am. I could honestly go the rest of my life without seeing him on another WWE show.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've never been a fan of the guy. Whenever I started watching wrestling, Bret Hart was the champion. Bret Hart was the guy. Him and Ric Flair were battling each other for the heavyweight title. So that's when I got into the company.
Being there live, I appreciated Paul Heyman's walk down the ramp with no music, right in between Alexa Bliss and Hogan. Like, move out of my way.
Yeah,
it's time for business.
The way it transitioned on television was that, you want your messages are popping up on screen there, homie.
Oh, my bad. I personally, could go through and not feel like that again. So, as far as Hogan goes, but they kicked off the show with Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. A lot of people didn't know where this match, or how this card would look. This was when they kind of didn't announce what the actual main event maybe would until like the week before.
Well, everybody
So
kind of figured it would be the women main event.
yeah,
That
they
was
announced.
the major consensus was women are main eventing. Where's everything else going to be placed?
Yeah, they announced it on the Monday night before that Alexa Bliss and Charlotte and Ronda Rousey was going to main event.
I mean,
Um,
Becky Lynch,
what did I say?
Alexa Bliss.
No, see, it probably would have been a better main event. Um, but yeah, I also didn't like how they only now on paper Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins were out there for 10 minutes, but like they only
Official
gave
ring
them.
time. I have 2 minutes and 30 seconds right now for official ring time from bell
Yeah,
to bell.
yeah, they only gave him a 2 minute match technically, 2 minutes and 30 seconds,
But
and it was
the
just
notes that,
Lesnar just demolished Rollins.
the notes that I wrote down were Heyman coming out saying that since Brock isn't in the main event, there's no point in making everybody waste their time and shit. Brock's ready to fight now. He's going to go out there and he's going to kick Seth Rollins' ass. And if Seth Rollins is ready to get his ass out there, let's go. And before Seth Rollins could hit the ring all the way, Brock just jumps his ass, starts beating him down. After a couple minutes of Brock beating Seth Rollins down, the he took Seth Rollins took. They had this like box set up for shit that is. I don't know if you've seen it while watching the show, but they had like on the guardrail, they had this box with two lenses on it that were filming in some different aspect ratio for some website or some shit. And Seth Rollins got thrown back first into that, and there's this big, huge box-shaped square on his back for the rest of the match after he hits the wall. And I remember seeing that, like, holy shit, that just got pretty rough. And we got a few suplexes, and then Rollins spammed the hell out of his finishing move after hitting a couple. What was it? A low blow, and it was 1, 2, 3. He just spammed his finisher like 3 or 4 times. That's what we got as a match.
I give it a 1.
Oh damn! I'm being fucking generous.
Dude, I gave it a 1. I thought it was complete garbage because the whole storyline was Seth talking down about how Lesnar's almost. That's what Brock Lesnar was at this point, and I'm really really heated, honestly, going back and watching this match, just looking back at his 3-year run, because it's just like disgraceful. I mean, a few years prior, they have him go over Dean Ambrose in what was supposed to be a pretty good match, and then they have him go over Roman Reigns the year before this WrestleMania in New Orleans, and then Seth Rollins is supposed to be the one to end the whole like part-time-ish Lesnar just demolishing everybody. But like you didn't even give them like a good match. Like why book it like that to where Lesnar kicks his ass for like 7 minutes when you could actually turn that into a 10-minute back and forth. Lesnar can go. Let's not get this wrong. This is still the same Brock Lesnar that had a classic with Kurt Angle. You know what I mean?
This is Brock Lesnar that just takes his money, does the thing that he needs to do.
Yeah, but
to get over the most, and he just fucking leaves. He just takes seriously.
Yeah, but just a few months prior though, he and Finn Balor, Finn Balor had a really good match.
Like how truthful though was Paul Heyman's fucking promo coming out there, sitting there saying, if we're not the main event, we'll just fucking going on first. We're not going to waste anybody's time.
Right.
I guarantee that was fucking very, very life. That was a very fucking real life.
Right. That's truthful. But just a few months prior and a few months after, he would have really good matches with like Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio, Ricochet, AJ Styles. Like, why not put that same effort into the match with Seth Rollins? It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's also what Vince wants too. That's another thing. That's Vince's toy on the WrestleMania stage.
That's another thing that irritated me about watching this, is I think probably every WrestleMania that we're about to talk about is gonna. I would almost want to watch it on mute because of how overproduced the commentary is.
Yeah, I agree with you. Listening to it now, it's very, very loose now.
Yeah, listening to it now, they're comfortable. It's raw. It's organic. What they're doing in the past is almost unlistenable. I had a hard time listening to it.
Where I really started to notice what you're talking about was whenever it was a Roman Reigns match, and they just kept calling him the Big Dog, and I'm like, oh shit, I remember, I forgot about that, the
Yeah,
Big Dog phase, and I'm like, oh god, it sounds horrifying. Oh
yeah.
no, but I'll disagree. I gave it a 3.5 stars just because I thought it started off differently. It was just an ass whooping start. It was a main event. That was the point. It was a main event that was opening up the show, and Seth Rollins is getting his ass whooped, and then spam 1, 2, 3. It was just a way to get the crowd hot and heated, transfer the title, get Brock some heat, get him to go home,
Yeah, but see
satisfied, and that was it. That was all it was.
the rematch they end up having at SummerSlam is a way better match than this one.
But what do you
Uh,
cut to give Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins more time on this illustrious card that we're about to talk about? What do you cut there, one?
we'll get into it. Right off the hand, I would cut the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, but
Good.
we'll get to that. I know there's a reason that match is on the card. Um, the next match is AJ Styles, Randy Orton. They went 16 minutes and 20 seconds. To me, probably one of the best matches of the night.
I thought it
The
was a
crowd
good back and forth match.
the crowd was not into it because the lights were just glazing on everybody.
Was it because I know that there's been quite a few different shows that WWE's ran where the fans, the audience were like, turn the lights off
Yeah, and
because they can't see shit.
it's usually at these, and it's only really at these big stadium shows where they use all these extra lights. But if you've noticed lately, like uh, it'll be completely dark and past like the floor seats. And yeah, I couldn't even get into this match in person because the crowd was overwhelmingly chanting "Shut the lights off." So, but
So
rewatching it, I'm glad. I had a fun time rewatching the match. It went back and forth. You finally got that dream WrestleMania match between AJ Styles and Randy Orton. My biggest turnoff of this match, rewatching it, you want to know what it is?
what's that?
What do you think?
I don't know on that one.
Jerry the King Lawler.
Oh, I didn't have a problem with the King. I just
At this might I don't know that this might be
he was off. I'll give you that.
absolute garbage.
I just didn't like that they gave different matches, different guest time, guest ring announcer. Yeah, oh shit, my god, I can't talk. Guest commentators. It kind of
Yeah,
just threw off the balance a lot because yeah, later on you have Booker T, uh, and then like what is it again? Later on you have JBL show up.
JBL, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels was all right because it added to the story. That
Yeah,
made sense.
but Jerry the King Lawler was absolute trash. I actually muted it during this match. I didn't appreciate any of
Well, I
his.
wrote down what the commentary talked about was that if the story was that Jerry Lawler played devil's advocate for Randy Orton, saying that Orton had to do everything to get the stuff that he's had because his father, was didn't really care for him and everything, so Randy had to go his own way. And the other side of the coin was saying that Randy had helped the entire time. What are you talking about? And they would mention his father, Evolution, Legacy, Rated RKO, and all that. They talk about all that. He's like that. He had help through all that. So don't give
Yeah,
us that he had no help storyline where AJ Styles had to work
yeah.
through the indie scenes, and that was the story they were playing up on the commentary in.
But see,
But
doesn't that sound like that sounds like Vince McMahon early 2000s commentary? Like that sounds like a bickering between Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler about how Jim Ross is talking the real life scenario. I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
it was played well.
It was
Jerry
played.
Lawler's
It was played
Jerry
okay.
Lawler's Jerry Lawler's delivery was he wasn't the right guy. They shouldn't have. Lawler by this point in time was done. But we're talking about AJ Styles, but here we're just mentioning Jerry Lawler because he was that big of a factor in the match, enjoyment of the match at home
Yeah,
for a lot
yeah.
of people.
So
But
like I said, I like the finish. I like the back
it
and
had a
forth.
fake out RKO to a springboard 450. I thought that was cool.
because if I'm not mistaken, did Randy Orton even get to deliver an RKO?
Yeah, he delivered an RKO and
Just one though.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people talk trash about AJ Styles' WrestleMania bookings in the past. I think so far we're just going to lead up to 31 or 32 to this one. So 32 he gets booked and loses to Chris Jericho.
Which I still was a bad move.
Yeah, me too. 33 he has a lot of people at the time thought it was shit, but I think he had one of the matches of the night with Shane McMahon in WrestleMania.
Shane worked pretty well.
Yeah, with WrestleMania 33.
Shane always puts on a good show with whoever he works with. For God's sake, the man worked magic with Steve Blackman in the 90s, okay?
Yeah, WrestleMania 34, he works Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship.
That match disappointed me because I've seen their fucking New Japan match, and that didn't live up to nowhere near the hype of what I wanted.
Not their fault, just overproduced.
Oh, dude, they should have just let him fucking cook at that. You know how the kids say nowadays, let them cook?
Yeah.
And those are two people, you just leave them the fuck alone, let them come up with what they're going to do. Tell them they got 35 minutes and let them fucking go.
So at this point, AJ Styles had a pretty decent WrestleMania run. And
he's getting some wins, he's getting some losses, but he's getting good matches on the card and good placement.
Yeah, but he's getting his one-on-one spotlight. That's the biggest picture. You know you've made it with WWE if you get that one-on-one match, that spotlight at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He's getting those matches where they put him in that dependable. Hey, we're putting you here at this spot. Your match. It don't matter who you put AJ against. You're going to have a dependable and you're going to have a good match.
You know what I just realized today is I was watching Raw from Monday night and he had a pretty good promo on that Raw. He'll be in WWE next year for 10 years.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
That's insane. 10 years with WWE. So I give this match a 2.5 out of 5. Would you give it?
I give it a 3.5 just because of how good because I listened to the commentary. I listened to how the story of the commentary was playing and how their match was playing out between them and everything like that. And by the end of the match, Randy did let his own ego get in the way, and that's what did cause him the match because he started fucking with the fans too much. Orton started posing to the fans and everything instead of paying attention to AJ, and that's how AJ was able to overcome him was because Randy was playing too much and going out of his wheelhouse and where he's not normally supposed to go. And Randy Orton wasn't in the proper headspace by the end of the match. So that's what threw off everything for Randy and caused him to lose. Now, I may have just been too high and read into it too much, but that's what I read.
The next match is SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
Which should have, and I put in my notes,
fatal 4-way match.
Should have been on fucking SmackDown.
Yeah. But they went no, you're good. They went 10 minutes and 10 seconds. This is interesting. This is where they ended up having they gave everybody their entrances, but did you notice that they cut the ramp down to half a ramp whenever they had their entrances? So anyway, with the fatal 4-way tag team match, they went 10 minutes and 10 seconds. The Usos retained the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, defeating Aleister Black and Ricochet, Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura, The Bar, which is Cesaro and Sheamus. Yeah. And I think the only reason
a fatal 4-way match for the tag titles, everybody got a moment there in the match and time to shine a little bit. Action was good, easy to follow for the most part. Cool swinging sequence with Cesaro and everybody taking fucking Sheamus's chest beating was pretty cool. Could have easily been on SmackDown and nothing would have been lost.
See, since the pre-show was 2 hours anyway, I would have put this match on the pre-show.
But they already had 4 matches on the pre-show?
Fuck it. What's another 5? but like I think the only reason this match even made the card was because people were hashtagging like something with Usos and WrestleMania that year because they had a promo about how they've never been on like the full actual card.
Oh yeah, they've always been on the pre-show.
They've always been on the pre-show. When I went to Texas Stadium and saw them in the Dudleys in a table match, that was on the pre-show. Usos and the Dudleys in a table match on the pre-show.
See, that's nice horse shit.
The two greatest tag teams of all time on the pre-show in a table match. So I think that's the only reason this match was not on the pre-show or SmackDown, because like months
I remember
before,
that.
yeah, months before,
Not the pre-show this year, please, guys. Please no.
yeah,
Please no.
and the night before, in Madison Square Garden, God, Tamatonga and Tongaloa had a really good tag team title match at Ring of Honor. So got to see both of them live in action.
Oops, family reunion that weekend. It's all good.
Yeah. I gave that match a 1.5, the tag
Um,
team title
I'm
match.
being pretty damn generous on this thing.
You are, man.
I must have been stoned as shit while watching it. But I gave it a 2.5 stars. It was nothing major. It was good for what it was. Everybody got their shit in. Everybody had their little moment to shine. Like, Aleister Black. What was it? Hit his fucking finisher, the spin kick he does. Uh, Ricochet hit the 630. It was all, everybody got their shit in. But then the Usos got the win with that stupid double splash. I thought the double splash was stupid. So, but
Yeah.
that was just me.
No, I get it. I feel it for
Because
sure.
they land on their knees and it looks awkward.
The next match is the Falls Count Anywhere match.
Before we get into the match, I have something to say before we get there.
What's up?
Hall of Fame segment. This one,
Uh,
it was this is me being high and thinking too much of it. That Bret Hart gets inducted in the Hall of Fame again with Neidhart for the Hart Foundation, but Shawn also gets nominated in for DX that night, but being the bigger draw than the Hart Foundation. And I just seen it secretly as a fucking just a slight rub at Bret, like, see, Bret, you're getting in, but so am I. And it's like, oh man, I don't know. That was just probably me. And then when you had Harlem Heat, Honky Tonk Man, Torrie Wilson, Hart Foundation, and DX for the Hall of Fame ceremony this year. Not a bad year, actually.
not a bad year. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still having a hard time with certain Hall of Fames. Like, I don't know. Some of them are really good, and then some of them are just like, I get it. But I think now it's just them being overproduced by Vince McMahon, because even the Hall of Fame last year, where it was just on SmackDown and after SmackDown, and everybody's super tired, I still thought the speeches were good and great compared to what it was 2, 3, 5, 6 years ago, because Vince McMahon just being overproduced.
See, and I just didn't care for this year's. I wanted to see Paul Heyman and be inducted, and I seen Paul Heyman open the show, and I didn't give a shit for the rest of the show. I really didn't care for the rest of the Hall of Fame. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the legends that were presented that award that year, but the show just, I didn't care.
The speeches weren't bad. Did you notice though? WWE put out their TV release schedule for this year, and there's Raw, NXT, SmackDown, NXT Stand and Deliver, Night 1, Night 2, and then the Raw after WrestleMania, and there's no Hall of Fame.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, there's no Hall of Fame announcement yet, so I don't know what they're going to do there. And then WWE did add Demolition back to their alumni page, and some people are thinking they might get in this year. So, which that's a different road we'll go down. We'll talk about that in a few weeks.
But still, that it's all intertwined. We're talking about the lead up to this year's WrestleMania, and the Hall of Fame goes along with that. It's always good, cool guessing who's going to be a part of the Hall of Fame this year and everything. It'd be cool to see maybe Batista just get the fuck out of the way while he still looks like Batista. He hadn't thinned himself away.
He's pretty thin now. I don't know. The 8th match on the night, if you're including the pre-show, Falls Count Anywhere, Shane McMahon and The Miz. This is the year that they made them like a great tag team. They won the SmackDown tag team titles, and then out of all the people that turned heel, usually it's The Miz, but this time it's Shane McMahon.
Who's the bigger asshole, The Miz or Shane?
I didn't buy it. I would have went with Miz. I
I,
didn't. I did not buy
They
this
have
storyline,
they have to experiment with the Miz occasionally. The Miz is a yes dude, and he'll do anything.
which is
I basically I basically wrote down, it was a good brawl, nice back and forth match, and hardcore moments. Uh, Miz Dad's spot was a complete garbage. The spot when Dad gets in the ring and they fight, and Shane kicks his ass. That was kind of funny, but the whole oversell uh, was stupid. Very cool finishing spot. Finish itself was lame with how Shane goes over. Golf cart bump by Shane was the worst bump of the night. I don't know if you remember that bump or not, but he took a television monitor to the face and he wanted a back bump on the back of this golf cart. And instead of back bumping on this golf cart, he just hits it and slides head first to the floor and
yeah.
thuds head first to the floor. And I was like, ooh. And I gave it 3 stars just because I thought they used the WrestleMania set to their advantage this time. It was finally played up in this big ass arena. They used
Well,
everything.
yeah, the way the main stage looked, how it looked like just a big curved TV. I thought they originally were gonna use that and have Shane jump off the top of the screen or do something like that. But overall, I mean, I thought the match was pretty predictable. I
We
gave it
knew
a
shit.
I
We
gave it a
knew shit.
1.5.
A 1.5.
Yeah,
Oh man, I need to share my weed with you and watch different shows with you.
I don't know, man. I was just it was just not entertaining to me.
You sound like you were hate fucking this pay per view.
I was, man. It kind of, and you would think I would have some kind of nostalgia there, right? Since I was there, but just
You could look
rewatching it.
through all the fucking mess, but like, I love this play, man. I was there, man. I'm like, fuck this thing.
Now,
Piece of
see,
shit.
that's how I feel about WrestleMania 32. I don't know. Maybe it's I don't know. Well, women's tag team championship fatal 4-way match. Was there a segment right before this one?
I didn't write one down, but there could have been. I was watching the Peacock version with all the commercials in it, so I was like watching it with dub commercials and shit. So
Oh yeah, no,
I kind of zoned out a little bit.
you're a
On,
better person than me because I have to do the no ads thing. I'll pay the extra for no ads. Um, I think this is where Farouk came in and did the damn with Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel because they were. No, this was a little. That was a little bit later on because they were
yeah, they were hawking some T-shirt
the
because
Daniel Bryan still
yeah,
retaining shirt. Yeah,
yeah, that was later on.
which was gross. That was a very bad promo, by the way.
It was just the way I think the way I feel about some of these shows. It's just a way to get as many people on the show as they can.
Why? It's not like they get paid like they used
They
to. They
do.
don't get.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But it doesn't
There's
matter. It's just the feel of I made it on WrestleMania. I had a spot on WrestleMania.
That's yeah, no, that's not entertaining at all. But anyway, this is the ninth match of the night, the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Team Championship. They went 10 minutes and 45 seconds. The Iconics defeated the Boston Hug Connection, which is Bailey and Sasha Banks, which were the champions. They were the first ever Women's Tag Team champions. Also defeated Nia Jax and Tamina, and then Beth Phoenix and Natalia.
And
And the Iconics.
Paige was the guest. The guest. She was the guest commentator in this match. Another guest commentator. She wasn't that bad. Paige here.
She said the words "fire" way too much.
I thought when she sat there and called the Iconics perky. They're like, oh, they're perky. And I'm like, oh, how cute.
Yeah.
No, I thought Paige was cute on commentary.
That's true though. They were perky.
I was like, I put normal Fatal 4-Way match wasn't bad. Just I needed for this already loaded show. Iconics win. 2.0. I was like, again, like previous Fatal 4-Way, everyone gets a spot in. Everybody kind of gets a little moment.
Now this match to me made sense being on the card. I gave it a 2 as well because it's the first ever season, WrestleMania season, that the Women's Tag Team Championship is here. This is the inaugural year for this. Yeah, it needs to be there. It needs to have a star-studded, match.
A rollout.
Right, which this match I think has.
I
Tamina and
think the
Nia Jax is a
Iconics
pretty.
going over though. I think that Bailey and them should have kept the belts, but I don't think the
This was
Iconics should have went over.
a pretty big pop. This was one of the second to loudest pops of the night, is when they won this match in person at least, and they were, man, it was pretty good. There was some tears being shed. I think Boss and Hug kind of had ran its course. I know there was some boos around where I was sitting for them, um, but when the Iconics won, that was one of the biggest pops of the night. So I think they should have had a little bit better run with the tag team titles. Um, but they did a pretty good
Oh, Iconic.
yeah. So you have any more you want to say on that match?
No, everybody did their thing. Everybody was good in that match.
Yeah. Uh,
That's one thing I'll sit there and give the women of today. No matter if their match is a 2, they're considered like a fucking 10 compared to what I grew up with watching. They're
oh yeah,
considered
yeah, for
anything
sure.
that we can. Even
We
some
didn't.
of the worst women's matches that we've had in the most recent era, even Nikki Bella, as bad as wrestlers, I think Nikki Bella is. She's still a great wrestler compared to the
To Stacy
previous
Keebler.
era. Oh God, I grew up in an era where women were just on TV because their tits were big and they looked hot. That was it. That was their whole fucking gimmick. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say that to be a crude
No,
person.
you're good.
That was like a legit that was the era. The attitude era is like she's got a nice rack and she's fucking hot. She's over. Sable, that was her whole shtick. She did Playboy for God's sake. And now you
Or
got women putting on matches that are, that just
or like
even
when they get or
whatever
like
are still
or
better than what we got. Sorry.
or like when they gave the cat a women's championship run.
Oh yeah, see, just because she showed her boobies at a pay per view, like she
Yeah,
legit ripped her top off at a pay per view.
yeah. No, I agree. And if you guys were wanting to talk about, or if you guys were wanting to see a good women's match, just this past Monday, Lyra Valkyria and Bailey had a really, really good match for the Elimination Chamber qualifying. So, really good match. I'd go check it out on Netflix. So, but the next match to me was the best match of the card.
And
Kofi
this is the
Kingston.
match that completely killed the show afterwards too.
Yeah, it should have main evented the show, but Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, WWE Championship match. I love the build. I love the him versus him. The multi-time champion versus the guy who's been there who's never done it. I like the story, even though it feels like we've seen it before with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania
Well,
30.
that's what I wrote down. I was like, the storyline was that Kofi was the B plus player, and Daniel Bryan thought of him that way, that he was the big guy, the big, he'll never win the big one, and that's what made it. The reverse is because just what we were 5 years previous, Daniel Bryan was the B plus player going against Evolution,
Well,
and
well,
now
guess
here he is saying, "Hey, you're a B plus player. You can't handle what I do."
well, guess what? They're doing it again this year with Jay and Gunther.
Hey, if it works, it works.
I guess.
It
Um,
worked.
it's still working. It's funny. I heard Kevin Nash on a podcast talk about how Jay's blown by the time he gets to the ring after his entrance. What makes him think he's going to go out there and have a good 20-minute match with Gunther? And I don't know if that's Kevin Nash just being a dick, or if that's just, I don't know what. But he doesn't like the booking of Jay being a world champion,
He would.
huh?
He would.
So, but man, I thought this match was great. The entrances, the build up. The match itself was back and forth. Daniel Bryan had some really great spots.
Oh, there was a lot of stretching and Kofi in this.
Yeah. Daniel Bryan was.
Kofi sold it beautifully.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan was booked as and was shown as a tremendous technical WWE champion, and I'm like, man,
He seemed bigger than Kofi though as well. Like he seemed to like just kind of wrap Kofi up sometimes.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, he looked like he was a little meaty on this one, like a good kind of meaty, like he was kind of built. But this whole Daniel Bryan saving the planet gimmick, I loved it. Like the moment he turned heel and beat Styles for the belt, I was over my head. I was like, finally. And then when he turned it into a wooden belt, I thought
Yeah,
all that
it
I
was
thought
him.
all this I thought all this was just gold. And yeah, Kofi needed his moment, and it was time. But I really could have seen Bryan holding on to the title for a few more months.
But that's how Daniel Bryan is, though. He can the guy run.
So, yeah, I really like this match. Um, to me, it was the best match of the night. I'm going to give it 3 stars.
I get it.
So, and then Kofi winning the belt.
Kofi winning the belt was very cute. You know, he had a family moment there where, you know, his kids get in the ring, they present him with a present. You know, it's a T-shirts with him winning the world champion thing, everything on it.
Had the
But it really
shirt.
sucked that Kofi wouldn't have won. You know, they would have just had to set them like, well, what's in the box? They're like, don't worry, what's in the box?
Yeah, it's a box of bootios. So,
But no, I thought this was a fun match. Everybody in the crowd was very energetic, very on their toes for this match. But as soon as this match was over, it's like, all right, that's it. We're ready to go home now. That's what I felt.
nope,
Is
that's
what
what it
I
was like.
felt
That's
from
what it was like the entire night.
the even watching it live on pay per view, because I was watching with a friend of mine, a fellow wrestler, Sam Stackhouse, at his house with his family and everything, doing some barbecuing and shit. And even after this match, everybody was like, "Well, what do you guys want to do?" They're like, "No, there's still 4 after." They're like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, the main event's the women, and there's still this match, and there's still this match, and this match."
Dude, there's still 6 matches left.
Hey, one of them's about to be a fucking class act match, and we're about to talk about that class act match. A match that fucking sacrificed and gave us all to this pay per view. A match that was probably one of the best fucking matches, so one of the best stories of the entire night.
This one, next match was the United States Championship match.
Yeah, exactly, man. It felt so much and so little.
Samoa Joe defending the United States Championship and defeating Rey Mysterio in 58 seconds.
You said that correctly. Not even 1 minute. 58 seconds.
But I feel like they dropped the ball with the lead, the play into the match. The match itself was fine. Again, they don't get paid by the hour. It doesn't matter. They should, it doesn't. None of that matters to me. 58 seconds is fine. The thing that upsetted me about this entire thing is looking to see what they did with Samoa Joe after this.
I don't remember really what they did with Samoa Joe.
I know he ended up dropping the United States Championship, having like a small little run. I think back on NXT with Karrion Kross, and then COVID happened, and then the following year he was a commentator at WrestleMania, and then he ended up just getting his walking papers and going home. But if they would have just kept this belt on him and just keep him going as an unstoppable United States champion,
he did have a good match with Brock Lesnar. Brock at least gave
exactly.
Whenever they worked.
Yeah, like I think he would. I think he'd still be there today. But I like the build of this match. You know, Rey Mysterio, the underdog, he's going after a belt that he's never won at this point, the belt that's eluded him. And then Samoa Joe just walks in. And I love Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe always struts to the ring, right? But I loved the strut he did at this show on the way to the ring with this belt. Like he knew he was about to just demolish the fuck out of Rey Mysterio.
And I like how after he wraps fucking Rey Mysterio up like an anaconda, and then he just chunks him off of him like there's some force being put behind Rey Mysterio, being his prone body being launched off and onto the canvas. It's like holy shit.
This is the one special guest commentator with Booker T that I did not mind.
Yep, exactly right. Booker T did ever extend his welcome. God, I'm not a fan of Booker T on commentary.
Well, the reason I liked him at this time was because he's one of he's one of the wrestlers who's had the belt the most with the United States Championship, and then B, the moment he puts the Anaconda Vice on Mysterio, Booker T starts calling it like an actual pro sport, like fucking cage fighting match. And he's like, he's gone. He's in the middle of the ring. There's nowhere to go. He's got him. And
there's moments of goodness out of Booker, but most of the time he comes across as a mumble rapper. Man, I can understand half the shit that comes out of that dude's mouth.
I think that's just him getting excited about doing what he's doing. You could probably understand him a little bit more under Vince because Vince was probably dogging him in the ear, but yeah, like no, this match was fine. I think for it being 58 seconds, I liked what it was doing. It delivered. I gave it two stars.
I gave it two as well, man, just because it did it was fucking a beautiful match.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's where here we get the ninth on my scorecard because it's you have a higher match count because you watched the pre-show, but I'm on the ninth match, and this is where I stopped writing shit down and stopped taking notes and just completely started not giving two shits about the show. And I smoked a little bit to try to maybe make that moment feel a little bit better. The
No,
so fucking long. And me and you even talked about how I fell asleep twice while watching this pay per view.
I
It
fell
took
asleep
me three
twice.
attempts. It took me 3 attempts to get through this pay per view. And around this time is when I had the most difficult time.
Yeah, you still have Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre. They went 10 minutes and 10 seconds. This was
Two
Roman.
matches this night with 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Two matches.
This is Roman Reigns' comeback match after his fight and battle with leukemia. Um, both these men, I think Drew McIntyre had the better look. He looked a lot more physical than Roman Reigns. Obviously, duh. Roman Reigns just came back from leukemia. But I think Drew McIntyre was, I think, not the person they should have thrown in there just to get Roman his cheap win. But it is what it is.
So yeah,
Roman,
I just basically wrote down action mainly Drew working over Roman most of the match. A couple big moves from Roman. Spear win. Basic Raw match. 2 stars.
oh geez, yeah, I gave it a one. Because
Seriously, this could have been a main event on a Raw, and I didn't give two shits about it on. And it's nothing against Roman and Drew. You know, the storyline was fine because I have a little brother that has cancer, and he was a wrestler. He played up this storyline too, and a couple times where I had cancer, and the person that he's going up against, well, you might have had cancer, but you won't beat me. And it's a good storyline. It works, but I just didn't give two shit. It was right at the moment when Roman started shit, and Drew was just figuring out who this new Drew McIntyre was.
yeah, they went the complete opposite by January. Like by the following December, Drew McIntyre won the Rumble, and Roman Reigns was having a dog food match with Baron Corbin.
Yeah,
So
so
the next match went 24 minutes and
it wasn't
45
even a match.
seconds.
Before we get to that match, we talk about that horrible fucking Elias John Cena segment that went on for like 15 fucking minutes.
I wasn't even going to bring it up, but yeah, you can. It was terrible.
We have to talk about what made this show. We have to document everything. Have what made this show so fucking trash that don't get me wrong. I thought it was cool that all three, because it was hard to do, sync up and do, Elias playing with himself on a screen. That part was cool. If he was a face, everything would have played great if he was a face. Again, another segment that could have been saved for Raw. They just needed John Cena on the fucking show because he just they needed a few minutes. He didn't have enough time to work out a match because of some fucking movie or some shit going on, and so they just needed a quick spot for John Cena to have on the show.
Well, everybody thought the Undertaker was going to be the one to interrupt him because everybody around that night, around the stadium was having high hopes of seeing the Undertaker. But there was no show of the Undertaker that night. The Undertaker showed up the following night on Raw and interrupted Elias. But this night you got the Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena, interrupting him. So
And another segment where I truly didn't give a shit. I thought a couple aspects of it was cool. The technical aspects of it was cool, but it being on the show that's already fucking we're now 4 hours into the show, and you're coming out with a comedy sketch with fucking Elias and John Cena for the next 15 minutes, and John Cena don't show up until the last two,
yeah,
and it's nothing against Elias. Elias was a great character whenever on Raws and SmackDowns and shit like that. You just don't throw him out there after a 4 hour fucking pay per view and tell him to fucking work his magic. because the crowd was ready to go the fuck home by this point.
Yeah, no, it was getting cold. Yeah, people were ready to go.
And then the following match we had was what now?
The no holds barred match with Batista and Triple
Oh
H that went
God.
24 minutes and 45
Oh
seconds.
God. This match drug on and on and on and on and on. It's been fucking end.
Yeah,
They thought the fucking piercing spot was cool and shit like that. I thought it was fucking stupid.
it happened at the beginning of the match.
I thought a lot of the. Don't get me wrong. Their age, they done some shit. But by the end of the, I don't know whether I've tried to look at it subjectively. Like, okay, this isn't a part of a 4.5 hour. By this point, a 4.5 hour show that I'm into.
They didn't need to
And
go
I'm just,
24 minutes.
but I'm looking at it as that 24-minute slice as a match. Out of just how us as wrestling fans we could sit there and take a match and just watch it and be like, okay, that was a cool 15-minute match. But when we're watching a full show, that 27-minute match becomes fucking long. We feel it. And I can't separate myself while watching this as far as watching this as just a match for a match's sake. It just feels overtly long. There's some cool spots. I've never been a fan of them people whenever they use tools and shit like that. I've never been a fan of that. I've always thought that was stupid and hokey in some weird way. We're watching fucking wrestling, and I think using tools is weird. But what do you think about this match?
I thought this one completely was just garbage. I think it could have been cut down to maybe 15 minutes. Um, for them being their age, and let's both put this out there. I'm not judging them because they're both still today in better shape than both you and I.
Oh,
Um,
no
but I,
doubt. I weighed myself yesterday. I'm 239 pounds. I'm a
but
fat
I'm
ass.
but I'm just saying I think that I would have cut this down to maybe like 15 minutes, and then maybe have some more trickery, maybe some more interference. I don't know. Um, but I think 24 minutes is way too long, especially when there's a lot of minutes of them just laying there or walking across the ring, huffing and puffing.
Hey man,
Like,
Batista Triple H gonna get this shit in.
yeah. Um, I thought the ending was okay with the Superman punch with the sledgehammer. I did like seeing Ric Flair out there, and because it felt like old
Well,
school.
Sean told a good story on commentary as far as Hunter's, how it could be Hunter's friend, and how Batista might be right about certain things and aspects of Triple H, and this and that.
This match had too many near falls, though. That they were trying to get the near falls like if it was like a young man's match, and that's definitely not what this was. I gave this match a 0.5.
Oh wow, I'm not gonna demolish it that bad. I give it a 2.5.
Ugh. Yeah,
I give it just for its work rate alone, man. They were bumping around for some old ass guys.
they were definitely bumping uglies.
No, they had some ugly fucking bumps in there. I'll give them that.
The 14th match on the
Oh god, this
entire
is this
card
match.
is the Baron Corbin
Oh, it
Kurt
is this
Angle
match.
Kurt Angle's retirement match. The whole thing felt cheesy, nasty. They went 6 minutes and 5 seconds.
Dude,
This felt like a pre-show match because the crowd was not into it.
this
The
was
com
disrespectful as fuck.
It was. The commentary was bad. The ring announcement, the ring announcement, which is all let's get this again. This is all one person's fault. This is all Vince McMahon's fault. What Mike Rome had to say, the actual ring announcer announcing everything was complete garbage. The commentary was complete garbage. Baron Corbin, not his fault. He was placed there by the bookers and by Vince McMahon. That was complete
Kurt even
garbage.
Kurt looked fucking out of it.
Kurt looked at he looked stiff.
He did, like he needed to fucking his back pop.
Yeah. But yeah, Kurt Angle loses. Baron Corbin gets the win. I gave this match a 0.5.
I gave it a 1. I even felt bad that fucking Kurt Angle did the "you suck" thing afterwards. It just shows his whole. It just summed up his whole career. I guess
And
a
again,
sweet, endearing moment, but by this
again,
point, it's just fucking like pity fuck. That's what it seemed like. It was a pity fuck. Like,
You also didn't get. He didn't have enough time. The match was only 6 minutes. That's including guys. That's including the entrances and the post. Just so everybody out there knows. Like so, as soon as the match was over, he didn't even sell the end of days. He got straight up and was like,
and
"Play
took a
my music."
microphone and thanked the
Yeah,
crowd. Fucking thanks for 20 years.
yeah, just completely, just
And I knew whenever they gave Baron Corbin the role, the match, I was like, oh god, they're gonna really. And it's not like I don't think Baron Corbin's a bad wrestler or anything like that. It's just like he should not be the one to be retired.
But again,
Kurt Angle does.
it's not his fault though. You know what I mean? It's not like he's got
Exactly. I'm
backstage.
not like I said. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that I he would not have been my first choice to fucking put up against. That's what I'm saying is that he's not the first. Because the commentators they even speculated, hey, we could have had John Cena versus Kurt Angle one last time, and I'd be like, why did we have that? Why did we have a 15-minute fucking bullshit segment with Elias and John Cena, and then a 7-minute fucking match with Kurt Angle and Baron Corbin when we could have had a 20-minute Kurt Angle fucking John Cena match?
There was talks that John Cena wasn't in ring shape though.
I wouldn't. Oh, who gives a shit? They're professionals. Ring shape, those guys would have found a way.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that was that match. The 15th match on the card
Oh, we got 2 left to go.
is for the Intercontinental Championship. Demon Finn Balor versus the returning Bobby Lashley. This is Bobby Lashley's first WrestleMania coming back, and he's being accompanied by Lio Rush. This match goes 4 minutes and 5 seconds with Demon Finn Balor winning the Intercontinental Championship for the second time.
Happy with the result. Could give a bullshit less about the match itself. It was just pointless. You got those fucking stupid context on Bobby Lashley, Lio Rush looking like a fucking idiot out there, and it's 4 minutes of just garbage.
Yeah, it's just some way to get the Demon over, put the belt back on him, because Bobby Lashley had just beaten, I think, Finn Balor prior, a few months before. So
It was another. There was a lot of with half of
again,
this card. You could have put it on a Raw with half this card.
again, Vince McMahon ruining a returning megastar like Bobby Lashley. This is his first Mania back. And again, I know it's the Demon Finn Balor, but you have him drop the Intercontinental Championship. Like, I know everybody can't get a win, but you got Baron Corbin get it. Come on, man. This is why
You couldn't
sometimes.
have had Bobby Lashley an angle. Like what the fuck? Give Bobby Lashley that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like this is why people under the Vince McMahon reign, like they just leave. You know, so whatever. But I was hoping for more with Bobby Lashley. I kind of think I don't know. I was a huge Bobby Lashley fan when he had MVP with him.
I never got the appeal of the guy. He just, to me, he was just a big old beefy dude. That was it. I didn't see nothing really special about him. He was just another beefy Vince project. Ooh, another big beefy wrestler to work with. It's like,
Yeah, Vince
been
does
there
like those
before.
beefy guys.
It's like I don't care. Like I said, I grew up with Brett and Sean. Those are my work rate wrestling guys. Those are my guys that I like gravitate to. The work rate guys.
Yeah,
I'm not one of those. Like Batista. I look at a big guy now. A lot of these big guys now would run circles around big guys from the 80s and early 90s.
oh yeah, for sure. Including the guys that aren't in that big of a shape, like Solo Sokoa or Jacob Fatu. I bet those guys would run circles around Hogan back in the day.
Oh, dude, Jacob Fatu would run circles over at least 80% of that fucking roster back in the day.
Even how much I don't like Braun Strowman, I think Braun
Oh,
Strowman is a better
dude's fast for a big dude.
yeah. So
He's
uh,
he's a very hefty boy.
next up, the 16th match, the main event, winner take all for the SmackDown and the Raw Women's Championship. 21 minutes, 30 seconds. Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. Becky Lynch wins, in which was a very predictable main event.
It had to be, and it needed to be.
Yeah. But even though the crowd was spent, nobody cared, everybody was out of breath. She still kind of got a big pop when she won. Um,
The story
Joan
and finish didn't fucking help though.
Joan Jett. Well, we'll talk about that. Joan Jett got a big reaction, but Ronda Rousey got a pretty big set of boos. Charlotte Flair is almost like the crowd was dead for her, and
Well,
then
her
Becky,
helicopter entrance kind of killed everybody's fucking excitement for the
which
comedian.
that was filmed like an hour or two before because we heard the helicopter, I believe, during the WWE title match. So
Why I
that
didn't
was
expect it to be a live shot.
yeah, that was not live. But anyway, uh, yeah, it is what it is. They kind of seemed a little blown themselves. Again, those women are still in better shape than me, but Becky Lynch had like a hard time with the table. I think everybody was just worn out,
They were,
including
I think they were just rushing to their emotions were very high, and they were rushing. The
Charlotte Flair. Numerous times before the match was even over, was already in a ball of tears.
that's what I'm saying. Their emotions, they couldn't get them in check, and they were rushing because it was Triple H that sat there and said, when you're in a moment and it feels like you're going too fast, slow down, just slow down. And if you feel like you're still going too fast, slow down even further.
Also, can I say that I believe uh, that this match is not none of their faults because this match came on at 11:45 at night, 11:50, around somewhere around there. She was crowned the champion like 12:10 Monday morning, if we're going to be honest. This was a 6-hour show that started at 5 p.m. Eastern time in New York City. And then this event finished Monday morning technically. Like everybody was spent. It was insane.
Well, you can sit there and look at the picture that you're displaying on screen right now. You got her with Becky Two Belt sitting there on the screen, but if you look at the seats underneath it, they're vacant.
Yeah. As soon as she won, the crowd just stood up and just started leaving.
Like, oh, we've seen it. We're done. We're out. Thank
Yep.
you.
Because technically they had Monday Night Raw like 13 hours later. So it was bad. And we Ubered to the stadium because we stayed like in Jersey somewhere. And obviously MetLife Stadium is in Jersey. But for us to get to the back to the hotel, like it was only like a 10-mile walk. It was a 10-mile distance. Like that Uber was like $60 because of obviously the fighting of the traffic and stuff. So we got to the outside of the stadium at like 12:30 in the morning because of how crazy it was and the let out and the rain. We didn't get back to the hotel room till like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you guys go to Raw the following night, or did you go home?
No, we our plane was like 6 p.m. that night, so we went to a few rest. We had breakfast at the hotel. Went to the we went back to New York City, watched a movie, and then had
That's
dinner,
cool
and
that
then
you've seen a
left.
movie that you've seen the movie in New York.
Yeah,
I'd be with one of my little friends. We're both part of the Cine-Men podcast, and just seeing a movie in New York in general would be great.
yeah, it was pretty cool. It was an AMC in Times Square.
One of my little favorite things, movie wise, is to sit there and just go to these little small towns that have movie theaters and just check them out. That'd be a thing I'd like to do that one summer. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, that would be pretty cool. Um, but yeah, man, it was a long show, and you know what I don't like? If COVID didn't happen, Vince McMahon would have never learned his lesson because that night they were promoting WrestleMania 36 in Tampa one night, Sunday, April 7th or April 6th, Tampa. And to be honest, even if COVID didn't happen, like at the Rumble, at the Chamber, they were still promoting it as a one night WrestleMania. So it wasn't until COVID that they split it up and had two nights. And then they were like, oh, even, with crowds coming back, let's still do 2 nights. Like, Vince McMahon would have never learned his freaking lesson.
It works better. I know it seems like you're going through excess, but when you're running a 6 hour show and you have the talent to do it, there's no reason why you can't have 2 nights, and it's okay.
Yeah.
fans have accepted the 2-night WrestleMania tradition. It's now a tradition. Yeah, it's 2 nights.
I
And
think it's
SummerSlam going to 2
awesome.
nights. And SummerSlam going to 2 nights as well.
When they do the Rumble, because I know they're going to do the Rumble too. The women's on one can main event one. The men's will main event the next night. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be fantastic because it gives you something to look forward to that entire weekend.
Not only that, it gives you 2 different sets of shows that you get to see.
And you're not having a 7-hour freaking show. This show ended up being 5 hours and 20 minutes, just the main card. Like I said, gates opened up at 3:30. We were in our seats and on our asses at 5 p.m. because that's when the show started, and then it was over at 12 o'clock at night.
So a 7-hour show.
Yep. Our asses were hurting, buddy.
I bet they were pounded, weren't they?
Yeah. So, and you know what? I think giving this show, I'm going to give this WrestleMania a total of 2 stars out of 5. The entire show.
I'll give it a 2.5. It's just for me, man. The right around the Kofi Kingston match is whenever everything starts to fucking click off, and I start to disassociate myself with the show completely.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think next week when we talk WrestleMania 36, we're going to go ahead and talk night 1 and night 2 in one show. I think it'll be hard to just sit there and completely trash it like I want to, given the circumstances. What do you think?
Well, fuck it. If it's a trash show, it's a trash show. They were still learning. The one thing we need to understand about next week's show is that it's the COVID one, and that's the one where they were still learning what the fuck to do. They didn't figure out what to do until hell when the crowds were still starting to come back, and they were still figuring it out.
Yeah, because let's get this straight. WrestleMania 36, it was only
80,000 to nobody.
Right, but it was only announced on March, like the first or second week of March.
March 12th. The reason why I know that is because my daughter's birthday is that day.
Yeah, and so what? The second week of March, it was announced that it was going to be a closed event. So, I mean, it's insane, but we'll talk about it for sure next week. I don't think we'll go over the pre-show match because the pre-show match was Cesaro versus Drew Gulak. Drew something. Drew, he's not even with the company anymore. So should be kind of fun. There's 9 matches on night 1, and then 9 matches on night 2. So, but that's what we're going to be talking about next week is WrestleMania 36, nights 1 and 2. This is the COVID WrestleMania.
COVID Mania, brother.
Man, this might be kind of tough to watch, but we'll get through it, I guess. What are you most excited about, though? Let's talk about this for a minute. What are you most excited about going through the last 5 years of WrestleMania?
Well, just definitely the roster change. You know, you can see it. You know, because Roman's still they're still trying to figure out. So we're starting out here at WrestleMania 35, and Roman's still the big dog, and he's about to eat dog food and shit. So we're getting ready. We haven't got to the OTC yet. We haven't got to the fucking the one. You know what I mean? We haven't got to it yet. We have John Cena's taking time off. You know, we're starting to get the Becky Lynch is starting to just take off, and
then Saturday
and become a mother. Wasn't it around the same time that she got pregnant?
Yeah, so we'll talk about that too, because shortly after she defends this championship at WrestleMania 36, she vacates it like 4 months later, and then Saturday, March 1st, we will go over and talk about the Elimination Chamber. We will give our predictions for Elimination Chamber, or do you want to talk about it afterwards?
We can give predictions first, and then we can actually, if we want to, we can even just have a spill about the show. We can just write stuff down if we want to. Just have a show.
Yeah, so join us Saturday, March 1st, but the next time we'll talk to you guys will be next Tuesday, the 18th, February 18th, we will talk WrestleMania 36, which is the COVID WrestleMania, the WrestleMania in front of 0 fans. It's the one hosted by Rob Gronkowski. We'll talk about all that live next Tuesday, 7 p.m.
But we also have on Monday our best of 2000 show for our movie podcast. We'd like to plug that here, so give us a listen over there.
Man, it's going to be huge, man. Monday, I can't wait.
Oh yeah,
it's our, what's that?
I said the year ending.
Year ending, man. It's our 6th one, top 5 plus 5 award show. We're going to hand out some awards, our favorites, all kinds of categories: comedy, horror, favorite actress, favorite actor, our favorite director. So it's going to be fun. And then don't forget, next Thursday, February the 20th, we're going to kind of do the same thing over on Friday the 14th, but this is only horror movies. We're going to rank our top 5 horror movies of 2024. So Monday cannot get here fast enough. I can't stress enough. Join us Monday. It's going to be a fantastic episode. And we'll see you guys on a brand new episode Monday on the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.